And now what I'm going to do is click and drag. And I'm going to click on that point again and drag, and notice something different happens. So what is it trying to do? It's trying to make a polygon. And then I'm going to
In this workshop, I've learned a lot of the basic skills in Geometry Sketchpad that have made me feel more confident to use it in my classroom, more time-efficient methods.
If I didn't know how to use the computer myself, I think I would put it to the side. So if I expected my kids to use Geometer Sketchpad and I didn't know what I was doing, I would just sit it over to the side and not be comfortable with it. But now knowing, I feel like I know enough about the things that I would use in my classroom that I could help them.
Opened up a lot of doors for me as far as taking a construction and physically manipulating it to another type of triangle. The multiple ways to manipulate through Sketchpad is definitely going to help me.
The one reason I haven't used it as much is because it seemed to take up so much of my time to plan the activities, to incorporate them, to get the kids to be able to do them, for me to be able to instruct them how to do them quickly and efficiently. I feel much more confident about that now. I feel like I can pull up an activity and I'm more confident in working with that activity, and so I can guide them through that activity in a much more efficient manner than I was able to before.
Students, okay, so here's your sketch. What do you notice? We have all those different angles. What happens when you drag it around? If we really want to make sure that it is a right triangle, we need to use some properties of right triangles. And what's one of the important properties of a right triangle? You have a right angle, and the right angles are formed by the perpendiculars. So what we really want to do is not use our drawing and drag it to be 90, but we want to construct it so that it's a 90-degree angle and always a 90-degree angle.
You don't have to be a Sketchpad master. Like it doesn't require that. Like we started with a sketch that was extremely simple, and it's really more about the questions you ask. And I think it was just kind of it was a real aha moment for me that. I don't know, just a kind of shift in the way of thinking, that you don't have to come in with this elaborate, 8-hour planning, activity that you took. You really can just use it as a discussion, and again, by the fact of being dynamic, there's so many questions you could ask, and that really is the important thing. And it seems so simple looking back on it, but for me, it was like, man, I hadn't even thought of it that way.
Oh, I like what I've seen this week. Geometer Sketchpad provides a lot more of what we would be able to be used in the algebra class, which is my main focus, I guess, because it's kind of like my heart for the children to be able to teach them without having them do it all on pencil and paper. With the Geometer Sketchpad, being able to do the parabolas in the program was the one thing that I really thought would be useful in the classroom.
When I heard about the workshop and the ability to learn more about Geometer Sketchpad, I felt reasonably comfortable with the software. I've used it before, I've tried it in my classroom. This week for me has really been an opportunity, how are we going to use it, and what questions do I need to ask the students, or how am I going to design an effective sketch? And so I haven't had to learn a lot of new things, which has been nice, so I can really focus on how I'm going to present this material. And that's something that's hard for me as a new teacher when 20 kids get their laptops out, and how to effectively manage that. And it's exciting to see the instructors here do that to about the same size class. To know that it can be done and you can get the goals that you want to accomplish has been exciting to see.
I was very nervous about being in this workshop basically for geometry because I've never taught geometry. Don't have any plans to do that this year, and not really sure what this workshop was going to offer me, but I was pleasantly pleased with the things that came about that I'm going to be able to use, especially the parabolas, the quadratics, the lines, especially just using these as tutorials and lessons to be able to pull those up and it not just be me writing on the board, being able to show this, and that also be in the notes that the kids are given. I think visually that's going to help them want to listen.
I feel like they will be more excited about the math from what I've learned in this workshop. With the Sketchpad, I feel like they're just going to feel more engaged and be able to interact with the math a lot more than they have been especially with the geometry, being able to see the shapes and the translations and dilations and rotations. That was something that I had not been familiar with until this week. And so that's something that I'm excited about to take back to my classroom.
And so what's nice is when you're having students look at different explorations is that with a single drawing they can look at lots of examples.